Welcome to Coinversations, South Africa's weekly catch-up in coins, banknotes, collecting, and the stories behind the history. With John and Landon, bringing you the latest from the world of South African numismatics. From rare South Africa's weekly catch-up in coins, stories, and collecting, and the stories behind the history. With John and Landon, bringing you the latest from the world of South African numismatics. From rare South Africa's weekly catch-up in coins, stories, and collecting, and the stories behind the history. With John and Landon, bringing you the latest from the world of South African numismatics. From rare South Africa's weekly catch-up in coins, stories, and collecting, and the stories behind the history. With John and Landon, bringing you the latest from the world of South African numismatics. From rare South Africa's weekly catch-up in coins, stories, and collecting, and the stories behind the history. With John and Landon, bringing you the latest from the world of South African numismatics. From rare South Africa's weekly catch-up in
a bit of a recap of certain things that have happened this year, as well as look towards the future with stuff happening on auction tonight. And John, we had some big news this week.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things happening, eh? Yeah. So welcome to everyone joining us for Coinversations. First and foremost, Landon, and you want to talk about these new coins, apparently?
Yeah, I'm excited about them. If you guys haven't seen, I did make a video talking about it today. 4 new coins coming into circulation, 2 Rand and 5 Rand. We're so used to those 5 Rand commemorative coins.
Yes.
So very cool to see them in the 2 Rands. So obviously, it's a public holiday on Tuesday. If you were planning on going to work, you might not have to, John. We have the day off. Let's do this. So we don't have to work on Tuesday. No, I've got Landon's lots Tuesday night.
No, we're working.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So thanks again, everyone. Obviously, and Youth Day is coming up on Tuesday, and that celebrates 50 years since the Soweto uprising from 1976. And as a result of that, we're seeing a 50-year commemorative 2 Rand coin for that. We're also seeing my birth year, 1996. That's pretty cool year, and that is the 50th anniversary of the South African Constitution. So the one we have today, it was made in 1996. We're seeing a 2 Rand for that. Also, the first black South African woman to get a university degree in 1901, 125 years. I didn't even know that.
No,
that's super impressive. Eh?
And we recently had this conversation of where you could find women on South African circulation, and this will be one of those coins added to that list.
Yeah, so very excited to see that one. And then there's also a special 5 Rand that combines those 3 2 Rand coins together in one coin. So you're going to see that in your change coming out on Wednesday, the 17th of June. So in the next few weeks, we're going to see maybe on the Coin Club group, if anyone sees it in their change, take a photo, show us, and maybe you could be one of the first people to have that coin in your hands. I think that's pretty special.
That's very special. So it's a bit of a challenge. Who's going to see it first? Who's going to have it first in the change? But yeah, it's very exciting about that. And yeah, kudos to South Africa Mint for the incredible designs that they've put in place for this new release.
Yeah, quite excited. So that was a big thing that we spoke about.
Yes.
And we have an auction coming up tonight, and we actually have 2, John. I'm very excited, of course, for the confirmation auction tonight, where we're going to see 2 items that I want to highlight. So lot number 2 on that confirmation auction tonight is a 1892 ZAR penny, which many of you can see. Well, you can get it in mint state for 2,300 to 5,000 Rand. But tonight, we're going to see it's currently bidding at over 20,000 Rand. And why, John?
Well, it's one of those special things, as you said, because of the distinction of the coloring that it's been graded. It's been graded red. And we do not see that often when it comes to copper pennies grading wise. So this is a serious coin for any collector looking for that red variety.
I must say, we did have one on a signature auction a few months ago that sold for around that 60,000 mark. This one, in my opinion, is way more red. It's got an absolutely incredible look to it. So when you hold it in your hand, red with a capital R. You're going to see it tonight. Very excited for that one. And we'll see how that goes tonight. I do expect, I expect over 50, 60,000 Rand for that coin tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of fireworks. But how interesting has it been? So for those that don't know, the gradings you do get for copper, you obviously get red, brown, you get brown, and then sometimes you get the black, right? So, and it has to do with the oxidation of the metal when it comes obviously in contact with oxygen over a long period. So when it's initially struck, it has that red finish to it, depending on the alloy itself. So to still see a coin in that condition after all these years is pretty special. And that's why we will be seeing, I do believe we will be seeing fireworks on that.
Yeah, and what you're talking about, John, is a coin that was surviving. You know, that red
Yes.
color is that original color where 90, 95, close to 100% of those coins have that BNRB, variety. And when you see that red one, you have to realize how special it is. A coin that was minted in 1892, the start of that Paul Kruger era for the ZAR coins.
Yeah.
And super excited. And like I'm telling you, if you hold that coin in your hand, red with a capital R, you're going to see it tonight. It's way more red than one we saw a few months ago. So very excited about that. And also talking about Gouvermentsnote, something that a lot of people might not know is how rare Gouvermentsnotes are compared to Republic or South African pound notes. Tonight, very privileged, for the first time ever in South Africa, there's a Pietersburg £100 that's going to be auctioned publicly. It is a big, big, big banknote, and it is going to sell for over 100,000 Rand tonight. I have no doubt about it. And how many South African banknotes go over 100,000 Rand? Not many.
No, not much. And if you just think about the history of this note and how much money that represented back then, and to see it in that grade, 62. I mean, that is a monster grade.
Yeah, so when you look
that is a monster grade.
When you look at that confirmation and you see lot number 7 tonight, you see top pop, standalone top pop, and the only Pietersburg £100 that has ever graded uncirculated. This is it. If you want the best of the best, something that, and I think Pietersburg £100, John, I don't think we're going to see one. This has been about 3 years on Bassani. It's the first time we're going to see one. The next one, no matter what the condition is, it might be another few years. So that's proper. That's very big item tonight.
Yeah. Just going back to the copper, we've learned something very interesting recently on the Coin Collectors Club. I found it a fascinating read, and it came nonetheless from the president, giving some very insightful information about the grading of copper coins and the expiry date on them, Landon.
Oh, that sounds a bit scary, John.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it that we have to remember that, when coins are red, we're talking about the oxidization, and people on the group even talking, is that the capsules are not always airtight. And when you do have a coin that was graded 10, 20 years ago, and it has that RD, that it might not mean that it'll always be RD. Regraded, it suddenly might become a red brown. So it is a possibility for that.
Yeah, and then we're reaching closer to that time frame. We've got a very special announcement we would want to make here on Coinversations. Want to make it now?
You want to tell people?
Yeah, I'm very excited to tell people. So, for Coinversations, there's been a lot of giveaways going around on the Coin Collectors Club. Well, we want to do our part. We've had an incredible blessed time. It's awesome to be here. It's a privilege for Len and I to do it. So we want to give back. So for Coinversations, we have our own giveaway. And we are giving away this beautiful item right here. We're giving you a box, right?
It's an empty box.
It's an empty box. No, so we've still got a sealed South African Mint box here. And Landon, do you want to tell them what's in this box?
I thought you were going to tell me I should open it.
No.
It's still sealed. It's a 2025 Odyssey silver ounce, one of the most beautiful coins that I think the South African Mint has ever done. And someone watching this potentially is going to win this. So we do have a giveaway. If you guys obviously do follow John and I on Instagram, we've made a post about it. Yes. And you could learn more about how to win this. But it is a beautiful coin, huh?
Yes. So we are doing our part with the giveaways. So if you want to stand a chance of winning this coin, please go and follow myself and Landon on Instagram. You'll see at 6:15 there's a scheduled post that will come out, the official giveaway post. So you can go like that. You can read everything there as well. But most importantly, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Coinversations. This is all done with the intention not to just bless someone with a coin, but to really grow the numismatic community. There are so many people out there that I think would fall in love with this hobby, as we have. and we want to share it with them. So yes, please do take part in the giveaway for the Odyssey. That's going to be so cool. I'm so excited. So the winner will be announced the 28th of June, that special Coinversations episode, right before the signature auction. So we're going to top off the end of this month with the announcement of the winner.
And only 2 weeks to go, John.
Only 2 weeks.
Signature auction. It feels like the other day we had a signature auction. Only 2 weeks to go to the next one.
Yeah.
And we do know there's a MS65 felt bond that's currently bidding with the commission close to 300,000 Rand. It's a coin that is going to get a lot of attention in the next few weeks. And really the felt bond, one of the best stories in South African numismatics. And we can obviously get to learn more about it. And if you don't know the story about the felt bond, probably it's time to learn about it. It is a big, big coin. You excited about it?
I'm very excited about it. We've had some awesome coins coming through the Bassani's auction house recently. We can't tell about all of them, but it's been amazing.
Yeah, there's some big stuff happening, and a big part of it, of realizing that we're halfway through the year, is that recap of what's happened in 2026 and how big of a year it has been for South African numismatics. Yes. Starting off in Berlin, John and I were very privileged to be there in Germany at the beginning of the year, where we met up with so many people from mints across the world, so many things happening. Of course, Thomas van der Spey talking about his Berlin findings recently, again, of all the ZAR information, things that you might think are lost and we might never learn about, but they're out there. And the more we learn in this hobby, the more we discover things that really is protecting that history that we could have lost. It's been a big year, John. Huh?
It's been a big year, and just taking a moment to reflect as we hit the halfway mark in this year. If you think about it, there had never been in a long time, I suppose, people that had come together the way they have this year. Just starting off in Berlin with just passionate collectors and dealers all going together of the dream of Thomas van der Spey, and how beautifully that played out. And from there, the momentum just went forward. I mean, we looked at the Johannesburg coin show, Landon. We've had only one coin show this far this year, but the attendance of that coin show is something we have not seen before.
Yeah.
The attendance of it was immaculate. Like, it was over what we ever could imagine. Obviously, a couple months ago, the Coin Collectors Club was founded, and since then, everything felt as if it skyrocketed through the roof. And very eagerly, the Durban Coin Show is also just around the corner, so looking forward to what's going to be happening in Natal a bit later. But no, it's been amazing. From the auctions, from the new collectors that have been coming to the scene. We've actually had a couple of new dealers as well coming on to the scene. So there's been such an exciting movement in numismatics. Unfortunately, it has to be said, you take the good with the bad. There has been also a lot of new scammers. There's been a lot of new scammers out there making the use of AI. And I mean, you and I know very well about it.
Might be an AI celebrity at this point.
AI celebrity, hey, Landon.
Well, a big part of it, obviously, we have seen the Collector's Shield, which is an initiative from the Coin Club coming out and obviously trying to protect people. And a big part of it is also education. At the end of the day, you're not going to have coins in your change that are worth millions of rands. Usually it's gold, silver, collectible, graded coins that people are looking for, and understanding the difference. Tonight we have 1892 penny that we spoke about, MS64RD. Now that coin in a MS64BN is a 3,000 Rand coin, but we're going to see it tonight selling for 60,000-70,000 Rand because of that grade. So when you learn more about numismatics, you start understanding that it's not just about the coin, the grade, the condition of that coin really changes the value. The felt bond, we saw some selling for less than 100,000. Here we've got a felt bond that could sell for a 500,000 Rand. Coming up on the next signature auction. So there's so many things, that we need to consider, and the education of it obviously becomes important. But it's been an exciting year. The Joburg Coin Show, you excited for Durban, where we expect to get quite a big crowd, especially compared to last year, and also growing the hobby, not only in Gauteng, but obviously realizing that in the Western Cape there's been a few meetings. There's stuff coming up, of course, in the Free State, in Bloemfontein.
Yeah,
That's even before the Durban show coming up. and then obviously the Durban one. So growing in different provinces, different areas of the country, and getting people, no matter where you are in the country, you can be part of some community feel for that.
Yeah, we've got a question in the comment section. Thank you for everyone joining us tonight live. It is always a pleasure to have you. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask. So, a very interesting question here. Is there any other country that have something similar to the Veldbond? I've got to honestly answer, I don't know. There must be, hey? There must be something else.
So, limited knowledge. I mean, there are many countries in the world, but I don't think any would be as cool as the Veldbond. I think we're very blessed in South Africa with the low mintage figures we have and many coins around that Second Anglo-Boer War. The Tabora Pont, I know, has some similarities with the Veldbond. So I would say in Africa, that coin compared to a Veldbond, there's some similarities. But other than that, I can't think of anything specifically, that comes to mind.
No, and I've been so blessed recently on LinkedIn. I've been reaching a lot of mints, a lot of dealers all across the world, and everyone is starting to notice what is happening in South Africa. So if you're part of the South African numismatics community, you are being noticed globally. I've had some people reach out to me from Germany, a couple of German dealers, and Americans. A lot of Americans have been reaching out. And one thing that always baffles them is the low mintage figures of South Africa. It's something, so they really are taking interest. They are noticing what we are doing, and it's really cool, Landon, isn't it?
John, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If we look at a Sammy Marks Tiki, 150 of them minted. We look at a 99, it's 120. We look at the Veldbond 986. We look at the Burgerspont Fine Beard 695. The Coarse Beard 142. These are incredibly low numbers. We're looking at a lot of British numismatics, European numismatics, American numismatics, where coins that are high value coins are suddenly like in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, so how blessed we are in South Africa. And I think people aren't realizing that quick enough, but when we get to those big five or top coins, I mean, a 1931 Tiki, proof mintage, there's so many very, very rare items.
Even the 2.5 shillings in proof,
Which one, yeah?
All of them. No, it's really been a blessing, and we are very excited for what's lying ahead, because the African numismatics is going global. We are really, and we spoke about Coinversations. It looks relatively young. It is relatively young, but we are doing something really very special. So yes, please join us on this journey and help us. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool, the things we've got in store lined up.
Yeah, and talking about what's happened this year already, I saw the latest Collector's Pulse going out about a week or so ago, and seeing how many members, it was 700, over 700.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, who would have thought? And I mean, this is talking about 2-3 months of the South African Coin Collectors Club existing, and we're talking probably now, it's probably over 800 by now. We're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 mark, and I at that rate, I can't see in a few years where we'll get to a point where there's 5,000-10,000 people, and having a coin collectors club like that, where you have a very high percentage of South African collectors part of it. It's something that hasn't been done on that scale in South Africa already, and you're looking at the Coin Collectors Club, comparing it to a lot of previous societies over the years, where it's already 3, 4, 5, 6 times more than what we are used to. And it's something that we probably only realize the effect in a few years of how much this will change numismatics in South Africa.
Yeah, I think there's been a big trajectory change, and also this year, I mean, South Africa's received its first numismatic magazine, if you can say, the Coin Collector, and where it's not just focused on the numismatics, but also the dealers and the people that form the community, which has been so special. And what I've also noticed looking at the Coin Collectors Club and all this is the eagerness to learn. People are readily available sharing knowledge. So I think the whole community as a whole is learning so much quicker than we've ever seen in the past before. And also with the compliments to the use of AI. I think AI has been used amazingly within the context of the community. And I think it's really been exciting.
And I do know that the next magazine is in the works.
Yeah, so the second edition of the Coin Collector for the Durban Coin Show is in the works. I'm lucky enough to see it, preview it a
wow.
bit, but it
Any hints or
no,
like?
it looks incredible. It looks incredible. The first edition really was amazing. It took months to actually put that one together, but compliments to my wife who's putting this together. But it is looking awesome with a very beautiful focus on Natal and the Durban region and their numismatics. So yeah, no, it's going to be awesome.
I see Parker's Fishing saying ACCC is boss.
Yeah,
So-
it is. It definitely is. And I think we're the biggest or the coolest coin club in the world. Like I would go toe to toe with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, at the rate that it's going in 2 years, 5 years from now, where the South African Coin Collectors Club is going to be one of the biggest collectors clubs for numismatics in the whole world. I've got no doubt about that.
How cool will it be if next year for Berlin, right, all the Coin Collector Club members had their own shirts and like flags and like we just rocked, we stormed the beaches like
We're
normally.
taking over
We're taking over Berlin. I mean,
Yeah.
we would.
And you know, there was only, I spoke about it last week, there were only 236 soldiers from South Africa in that Normandy attack. We might get more people than that in Berlin. I mean, coins are taking over. Huh?
We're taking over Berlin.
No, very, very cool. And, you know, talking about numismatics in general, I see Parker saying, will the second edition have collector interviews? I don't know. We might not be able to reveal all the secrets.
No, we can't reveal everything. But yeah, you can definitely look out for it. It's gonna be. I'm very proud of having the magazine. I think it's something that's bringing everyone together in a certain sense. And it's been very nice. Not just having the WhatsApp groups, but having these tangible stuff. I mean, you know what we also had this year, we haven't even mentioned, is the Hearn catalogue digital for the first time ever. I mean, that's been awesome for numismatics in South Africa.
So many changes happening, and then that's growth. You know, sometimes people don't like change. You know, they're not used to it. They don't know what to expect. But a big part of this Coin Collectors Club is that we realize whatever's changing is also growing, and that's the most important thing that we all want. Whether you're a very big collector that has one of the biggest collections in the country, or whether you're someone who bought your first coin 1 week ago, you're part of the same club and you're part of the same story and journey for that. So, John, going back to that Coinversations, I do want people to realize how important this is.
It is.
Lot 7 on that confirmation auction. I do want to say I'm a big advocate for Coinversations. Unfortunately, the market for it hasn't been so good for the last few years. And it is something that you can't compare to Republic or even South African pound notes. We're talking about a Petersburg £100 note that is one of the rarest banknotes in South African history. And if you love your ZAR coins, you've got to be interested in those ZAR banknotes. It's a big part of that story. And rightfully, as John said, £100 Petersburg note. You know what you could have bought with £100 in 1901? It's absolutely insane. And tonight we're going to see that note. And I do think it's going to be quite a few years. You're not going to see one again. So if you're into Coinversations notes, you like the rarest of the rare, you like the best graded stuff, the top pops, you got to be there tonight for the confirmation auction, where we're going to have one of the rare occasions where a South African banknote is going to sell for over 100,000 Rand, which is a big deal.
That is a big deal. I'm learning how to speak English here tonight. Apologies for the mixed language.
Mingles.
Yeah,
you mix your Afrikaans and English, John. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it happens. Now, one thing becoming auctioneer, that has caught me off at some points.
You get used to it, though, because you got your numbers and your...
You got to go for it. But one thing that's also been amazing, reflecting back on this year, is the auction houses. You know, you always watch a movie and it's always like this very dramatic scene, the auction, you know, like going sold, and it's been something really cool this year in that we've actually started live streaming auctions, and I can't wait. And you actually, Landon, in Orania had a literal live auction with a live audience.
That happened this year.
That also happened this year, so I mean we're going to be seeing that hopefully again soon. So no, that's been a very exciting part for me as a numismatist, where you're getting fair market price, and we're actually seeing price discovery for South African numismatics, which we haven't seen in the past on in such a public fashion.
Yeah, we got to see big items selling publicly where everyone can see it. At the end of the day, I don't want to hear a story about someone overpaying double, triple, four times for what they should have paid for a coin. And at the end of the day, when you see items on a public auction, yes, you might be disappointed. You might have bought ZAR coins at the height in 2010 or around there, where you paid R1,000,000 for your felt bond. Unfortunately, your felt bond's not worth R1,000,000 anymore. And it might be worth more than that in the future. Who knows what exactly happens? But to see all of that in a public setting, I think is important. To realize that if you want the best of the best, there are still very high prices out there, but a lot of items aren't as rare, and as a result, the prices aren't always what you would expect them to be. And I know that's controversial, but that is part of it. It unfortunately, not everything is going to be really expensive. I mean, tonight we're seeing a weekend wonder where there are a lot of items on that. 800 of the 1949 proof coins were minted, for example. It doesn't mean that they're going to go for thousands and thousands, but they're still special. There's a place for everything, whether it is the coin that is only worth the silver value, or the coin that's a bit rare, or the coin that is super rare. We also have all those. And I always see people who are big collectors, they collect everything. I mean, you see a guy buying a felt bond, the next week he buys a R5 coin,
Yeah. The beauty of the auction houses is that I've seen a lot of the American podcasts have been talking about that the auction houses are the steering head for market value, and that you can't really argue with that whatever it sells on auction, you can consider the market value. And I think a big lesson for me was with that Farouk half bond. It's like, it's this incredible coin, it's got the provenance, all this, and the market value determines it's worth 200,000 rand, and you can't argue with it because that's what it went for an auction. And I think that's been a missing factor in South African numismatics, where I think we lingered a bit too far behind American numismatics, where the people are much more aware of the prices. There's not as much chance takers, I would say, in America as there are, unfortunately, in South Africa. But I do think this year alone, we have seen a massive hit back towards scammers in South Africa. I mean, we've seen some big articles come out about scams, about schemes. There's been a lot of more awareness than we've ever seen before about that.
I think that's important, and I think, John, what I'm happy about, and I think we all are happy about, is that this is a hobby that's becoming a bit more public, and that can't be a bad thing. You don't want to be this niche hobby with 10 people sitting in a room and no one ever knows about it. So the more people know about it, the more it grows, and there's a lot that comes with that. We see a lot of coins on a weekly basis sell for very far below the catalog value, and we see a lot of coins on a weekly basis sell way above the catalog value. So there are things that we have to consider. And tonight, for example, we have a 1953 5 shilling, very low catalog value in proof, but it's a top pop coin. It's the best of that year, and suddenly it becomes a 5, 6, 7,000 rand coin as a result of that. So there's so many things to consider, whether you want the best grades, whether you want the low mintages. It's not as simple as just looking at a catalog and getting a value, and that's why so many people talk about Minted being a very good website. And obviously on Bassani's, you guys are able to search past auctions and then see what things are selling for. So giving you an idea of that is so important. Also even before buying. I mean,
and I think what's been amazing for the numismatic community, more than ever before, is that actual sense of community. In the past, myself and I'm sure Landon, any collector, he would purchase the coins if he ever did find them, put them in his collection, but was never able really to enjoy them or celebrate them. Where it's been really fun for me, when I do get an item, I have actually someone to share it with and say, listen, flip it, I got this thing. Even if it's not an expensive coin, but every small victory is celebrated. And that's been such a beauty for me, and going back to the true essence of numismatics, where I think because it's so encouraging, where people actually celebrate those small victories with you, I think it actually encourages you to keep on building your collection.
Yeah, it's so fun when you start a specific set, where for me it was that blank set, and I've got a 96 proof set that I graded at Sangs recently, and I actually got a few top pops. So how cool is it? Obviously with Sangs' new registry being out, you can get a standalone top pop or top pop where I could say, in my birth year, 1996, I've got the best 1 rand in the country or the best 50 cent in the country. How cool is that? And I think it's a big part of it where we've also seen Sangs becoming a proper, really, really impressive grading company in South Africa that helps so many of you also to grade your items. And, I mean, do you have a top pop in your birth year, John?
Not on my birthday.
I mean, you might have to
Not
start
on my
grading
birthday.
some stuff at Sangs there.
You're giving me ideas.
Yeah,
You're
I've
giving
got
me ideas.
I've got a PF69, 1 rand, 1996.
I do believe I've got a top pop at Sangs, but yeah, that coin I'm holding dear. It's,
a secret. It's a
no,
2.5 shilling.
No, it's not.
It's
actually.
a 2.5 shilling.
It's a 1937 Fantasy Crown.
Oh wow, okay.
I've got
John, you got a soft spot for it. Yeah.
It was graded 69, so.
So you're telling me I need a 70 to beat you?
You're gonna need a 70 to beat me in that one.
and that's as simple, we're talking about that 500,000 rand Feldbond coin, but it could be as simple as buying a proof set for 200 or 300 rand, sending it off to Sangs, grading it, and feeling so proud that you've got your birth year and you've got the best coin from your birth year. So that's possible, it's not about spending hundreds of thousands or millions. This hobby is something that, for a very low amount, you could really feel really proud and have some really proper cool stuff. And we're blessed in South Africa where we have so many coins of low mintages that are not that expensive. So go out there. How fun it is. Instead of buying a PF69, imagine grading it and you get like a PF, it's way cooler, that feeling of excitement, awesome. Waiting for it. Do you recommend anyone watching, get a proof set from your birth year and send it to Sangs, get it graded, and get some finest knowns, because otherwise I'm doing it and you might struggle to compete with me with the census.
I think there's going to be a lot of competition at Sangs at the moment. As soon as top pop. As that registry is being filled, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's been a big thing for me this year. That's been exciting. Thinking about so many things that we've been part of this year and what's still to come. The Durban coin show obviously in July. Making me think back, John. Very, very important. The Coinversations on auction tonight. Do you want to tell people how cool it is? No, I have to, folks. John, we're not going to see one in a few years, so I'm very excited about it.
But what's also been amazing, talking about that note, is because of the growth of the numismatic community, how much of these hidden secrets have been coming out this year. If you think about it, the coins you've seen on auction, the collections that have come into auction, it's things that haven't hit the market in years, are coming back onto market. And we had that conversation with Thomas van der Spey, and you've got to recognize this, and that we're at this transition point where a lot of big collections can possibly hit the market within the next decade. And one should be aware of that. So it's going to be very exciting times, I think, the next decade.
That is very exciting. Eh? So it's stuff that we thought like for many years we weren't going to see, things that you might even forget about.
Yeah. And
suddenly they get on the market. Whether it is those 1931 Tiki in business truck we haven't seen in a very long time. Where's that? 99 in Mint State. When are we going to see one again? 1893 half pont in Mint State, 1893 1 shilling in Mint State. There's so many coins. 1928 sixpence. When are we going to see that? There's so many big items that are in collections out there. And a Clegg £100. I mean, when are we going to see that? When are we going to see a Clegg £100 becoming the first banknote in South Africa's history to sell for over R1 million? There's so many things where you can say a 1921 Clegg £100 is a R1 million banknote, but we don't know that because we haven't seen it. No. And the nice thing about a confirmation auction that Bassani's is obviously doing, where it brings items out that otherwise we would have never seen. Yeah. So tonight we see that £100 Petersburg, and in the future we might see big items like that again. And I think the confirmation auction, having that reserve price on a few of the items is bringing those big ticket items. And like John said, many of those will come up for auction in the next 5, 10, 20 years. And sometimes if you really want something, you might only have 1 or 2 opportunities to get it.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the verwoerd 1 cent that has been added to auction. We had the Farouk, we've had some big coins come out of nowhere that have come onto auction. So no, it's been a lot of fun here at Coinversations. We're very grateful to be part of this and to have seen the exponential growth over the last 6 months, and knowing that this year is far from finished, Landon. There's still a lot of things that are still happening. We still have that big meetup, all those hints that have been
the 22nd of July.
Yes.
And we have been informed, if you guys watched Conversations episode 7, where we interviewed Thomas van der Spey, where that meeting is going to happen at Gold Reef City Mint. And I don't know, did you see that one photo? It looked like a bit of a single 9 situation there. So I don't know what that means. Maybe we also have actually planned, I think we can announce it, the interview at GRC. I mean, we obviously have also arranged around that time that we are going to be interviewing Glenn Schoeman, which is a person who has played a massive role in numismatics in South Africa. So that's going to be coming out in July, where he will be on a Coinversations episode talking about his life. How interesting, I mean, how many things has he experienced? I mean, we know nothing, John, compared to him.
He's a walking legend. Glenn Schoeman, obviously the former president of Sant, GRC, Gold Reef City Mint, who at a time was also minting the Kruger hands of South Africa. I mean, there's incredible knowledge that Glenn Schoeman has that we are going to try pride out of him.
So many awards that he's won, over the years, and super excited. We are going to have him on an episode of Conversations, towards the end of July, and talk about his whole life, his journey, and that's what we want to do. I mean, there's going to be so many big people we're going to talk to, in over the next few years, and really understanding all the legends. We talk about all these people, John, but if we don't talk to them, how many stories are going to be lost?
Yeah.
I showed today. Did you see my video of my 1996 book? I was bragging about.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
No, John. I mean, so if you guys haven't watched it yet, I shared it on the main chat on the Coin Club group, where how special it was for me to it's my birth year, and I bought this book from Heinz Verse with all the first day covers, the unpack, all the banknotes from that year, and you think about it's a random year. Every year there's stuff happening. In my birth year there was an African Cup of Nations. It was the Constitution with the new 2 rand coming out. It was South Africa going to the Olympics in America, one of the first Olympics that we went back to after apartheid. There's so many things happening in that year, and that happens every year. And there's so many stories that if you don't continue it, you don't keep it, you do lose them. And I think that just shows the importance. So that's going to be very exciting coming up towards the end of next month. Obviously talking to Glenn Schoeman from Gold Reef City Mint.
Yes, and there's a lot of things that can be unlearned, and it's as exciting as numismatics is at the moment, we need to understand that there is a passing of a baton, the way I see it. There's a lot of things we can miss if we don't learn from Glenn Schoeman, if we don't learn from Thomas van der Spey, or whoever it might be in the industry. There's a lot of things we're going to have to go rediscover for ourselves, which I think is needless. I think there should be an aspect of humility where you can still look at these guys and say, listen, please do teach us. And a lot of them are willing. A lot of them want to teach. So it's been incredible with the Coin Collectors Club and with Coinversations that there's a platform finally that is being created to share that knowledge.
Yeah, and share it publicly.
Yes.
It's so important. Over the last few years, what people don't see behind the scenes is how much learning and mentorship happens. How much someone like Thomas van der Spey, Anthony Govender, Heinz Verse, even Francois Milan, Marco Bassani, obviously from P&G Coins, people who have a big role to play, and so much knowledge, and you don't want that knowledge just to be wasted. So in a public setting, we're able to share that with you guys, and very exciting.
Yes, so I think it's been a great episode, Landon. Thank you for everyone that has been watching. Please do not forget about our giveaway on our Instagram and obviously on our YouTube. This is done for the pure intention of growing the hobby, of encouraging someone to give it a chance to come have a look at what we're doing in South African numismatics and pull in new collectors. There has been a vibrant new culture of collectors coming in where they can safely learn about numismatics, safely purchase their first coins. And so, yeah, we're very excited to be part of that. So thank you for everyone joining us tonight. And we'll see you for the Weekend Wonder. And then
Starting very soon, eh? We're
Starting
about
very
20
soon.
minutes away. And a big thing tonight, John, that people need to take away. What is it? The Gouvernmentsnote. Check
The
out on the
Gouvernmentsnote,
confirmation
of course.
auction tonight. It is the biggest Gouvernmentsnote that we have seen in years and years on the South African market. So check that out tonight, and very excited. I'll be doing that confirmation auction at 8:30 tonight, and like we said, that Weekend Wonder obviously is coming up in about 20 minutes. John, that was a good episode, eh?
That was a good episode.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you for the Weekend Wonder. And do not forget confirmation auction at 8:30 with Landon Kulitsky.